You're listening to Empire of Rust, the world's first and only Transformers RPG podcast. Join the Heroes of Iacon as they defend Cybertronian civilization from the remnants of Cybertron First to Lord Starscream's egotistical leadership, and beyond to the unknown threats on the other side of distant stars.
Welcome, everyone, to this super special episode of Empire of Rust, the one and only Transformers RPG podcast. And I am joined by a couple of special guests today. Charles, formerly of the Transmissions podcast.
Formerly? Hi, everyone. I think I need to check something. Hold on.
I think you lost a job without realizing it.
Well, we live in the Twitter world nowadays, so you never know.
Have I been canceled?
Sorry, Charles, you have been fired. I'm just kidding. I'm sure your job is fine. Special guest star Yoshi.
Yo!
Formerly of the Transmissions cast.
Former star of the Transmissions podcast.
Fair enough. I can get behind that. And our two returning players. We have Matthew.
Hello.
And we have Patrick.
Hey, everyone.
And today we are doing a very special episode of Empire of Rust. We are doing a continuation of the Hell by Any Other Name episode that we did back, when was it? Back like a year and a half ago? Has it really been that long?
Yes.
Wow. Truth be told, I had intended to do this back in like January, February, but then the world turned to crap. So, what can you do? But that's okay because we have our players with us today, and we are going to jump in, and we're going to continue this story, and we're going to have a great time, no matter what Matthew has told us.
Sounds like a threat, Mike.
Mike has assured us that if we have a great time, he will return our family members.
And Charles can have his seat back on the podcast.
I can make it happen. All right, we're just going to jump right in because the fans have waited long enough for this. They've waited a year and a half for this. No bullshit, nothing. We're going to just jump right straight the hell in. Scrap Heap Seamos, Professor Sprocket, and the indomitable Kiloton climb up the ladder leading away from the abattoir of dead bodies. All four of you put one arm in front of the other, each step leading you further from the horror below you. And each rung takes you further from the corpse of Necro and his undead zombie bots. At the top of the ladder, you emerge into the light of the Cybertronian evening. Surrounding you is a makeshift triage camp made up of the first responders from Central Reclamation. One of them reaches a hand down and helps you up into the free air of the city. And your ordeal is finally over. Or is it? Days later, Scrap Heap and the Professor are in Wheeljack's lab, deep into research on the crystals they found. Charles, I want you to give me a life science check, the first roll of the adventure.
Okie dokie. Scrap Heap's been working hard, and he has advanced a couple levels, so he's actually got a pretty good score there. So let's see if the dice are kind. Life science check is 20, total 20. Not a natural 20, just 20.
Solid start to the ep. Hope you guys are taking notes. This is how you should be rolling. So, Scrap Heap, you have been doing research on these crystals that both you and the Professor grabbed some samples of back in the last episode. And after several days of checking on these and subjecting them to tests, you realize that these crystals are a form of contaminated energon. And continued exposure to them causes a Cybertronian's neural pathways to separate. This causes different parts of the mind to act independently of others, creating what's effectively a split personality. The insanity that Necro exhibited during the fight was probably because parts of his mind were being torn apart.
Oh my.
Pretty awful, horrific stuff. And you've kind of determined that it's the radiation from this contaminated energon that was causing this.
It's like, so it's bicameral energon?
Yeah. It separates out like all of the energy like within your mind, and like starts to not just bicameral, but it separates into like multiple pieces, and then each piece effectively is growing in its own way. Given enough time, each of those pieces may actually grow into a completely separate and well-rounded personality. But as of right now, they're not well-rounded, not at all.
Given the circumstances, well-rounded seems a bit optimistic, but...
So it's effectively like forced ego dissolution.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome.
Do they actually turn into like 4 physical separate brain modules in the bot's head that could be implanted in other bots?
You don't think so. You think it's just like the neural energy within the brain.
Okay. Well, that's a horse of a different color.
And this is the kind of like stuff you guys were exposed to too. This is dangerous stuff. In fact, Scrap Heap, I'm going to need you to roll a quick will save.
Oh my. 13.
13. You feel fine. You don't feel like there's anything wrong.
Okay, can I shield these? Like, have we isolated the radiation that these things are giving off? Can we put them in like some containment places so that they're no longer affecting us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that you're actually doing this in a real scientific laboratory. So of course you're going to have the equipment needed to block radiation and to kind of just keep all of your potentially radioactive specimens contained.
Okay. And could I do a can I do a science check to make sure that I'm actually all right?
Sure. Absolutely. It's going to be a physical science check.
Okay.
Do you have physical science?
Yes, I do. 22.
22. Yes, you are convinced that you got to it soon enough, and whatever radiation, like the radiation that has come out from these crystals, although several pieces of equipment within the laboratory and probably the laboratory itself is contaminated, you do know enough that you think you can decontaminate. What's the word for it? Clean?
Sterilize?
Sterilize, yes, thank you. And Scrap Heap, with that physical science check, since you got it so high, you actually learn a little bit extra with it. So you are analyzing the radiation, and you analyze like the quantum signature of the radiation and the crystals, and you can determine that these crystals are not native to Cybertron.
So these come from a place far, far away.
And as you do a little bit of research, you can figure out that the quantum signature is it does not match anything with Cybertron, but it actually has a lot of similarities to the quantum signature of the Benzuli Expanse.
Uh-oh.
Not the Benzuli Expanse.
That,
why did you have to roll so high?
That's Bad News Bears. These things are a special delivery straight from the dead universe. That's bad idea, Genes. Can we tell, am I working with Wheeljack here in his lab? So can I talk to Wheeljack and make sure he's aware of this?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, once you're satisfied that you really can't learn any more from the crystals, and once you've analyzed the signatures, you put together you and the professor put a report together and deliver that to Wheeljack, telling him of all your findings.
All right, Wheeljack, here's the deal. We need to take these crystals as and these are very dangerous. I want to stay alive, so we need to keep these things as far away from us as possible. I am not interested in taking a trip to the dead universe.
Yeah, me neither. In fact, what I'm going to do here is we're actually going to take this report. We're going to send it up a little bit. I'm going to talk to Ironhide and see if we can maybe find some other way of dealing with this. Because these crystals, we can't have these crystals in here. And if they're coming in and if they're contaminating the substrate of Cybertron, that's not going to be good at all.
Question. Is the just because I'm not familiar with it, but is the dead universe kind of like a antimatter versus matter sort of thing, or is it just like a section of space that they call the dead universe?
It is an actual alternate dimension, universe, pocket dimension, I guess, or it's basically. I think they call it like unspace, or it's a different dimension, and everything that goes in there is like drained of life. Okay, so it's like the negative energy plane in other games. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Okay. If you go in there, you are basically zombified or turned into a. You can still survive when you're in the dead universe, but if you come back to our universe, you'll either start to disintegrate or you'll start to draw. You'll need to draw energy from other things. Like you'll become a vampire or a zombie, essentially.
Interesting.
We're so taking a road trip, aren't we?
There. Can we go to the slightly ill universe instead of the dead universe? Or?
The Transformers have developed technology and equipment to shield you from the effects of the dead universe. So, if you know someone who has developed this equipment, you could potentially survive that. But it's not standard issue. It's pretty exotic, and probably only a few bots are aware of how to build such equipment.
Okay, good to know.
So true to his word, Wheeljack does bring your findings to Ironhide, and the two of them have a talk, and the two of them decide that, you're going to need to send a team in to determine where this stuff is coming from. Because if it's just growing in Cybertron, then someone may have put it there and it needs to be excised. Or if someone actually brought it with them and put it there intentionally, maybe others are going to try to do the same thing. So Ironhide realizes that a team is going to need to be sent, and this is going to need to be investigated, and something is going to need to be figured out for this. So one day, while you are in the lab there, Scrap Heap, Wheeljack comes in and hands you a datapad, and on it is a message from Ironhide. Scrap Heap, I'm gonna need you to head back down into the catacombs of Cybertron. I'm sending a team with you. Since you are one of the few bots who actually experienced everything down there, they're going to need your expertise. In 2 days' time, a couple of soldiers are gonna come and meet you at Wheeljack's lab, and you'll proceed from there. Find out if there's any threat to the planets. See if you can figure out where Necro came from, if he's by himself or if he's a part of something bigger. And I just need you and the team to go ahead and deal with this. My security forces are stretched way too thin right now, so I'm going to need to rely on all of you to deal with this. End message.
Oh boy.
I'm more bothered about heading into the Deadverse.
As you should be.
Yeah, Scrap Heap's not too keen on going back into the catacombs after his last ordeal, but I guess a bot's got to do what a bot's got to do. But I did almost die last time, so I'm hoping Ironhide's sending some I guess what's the analog for muscle for Transformers?
Pistons.
Pistons, sending some big pistons. Wheeljack, you're a veteran of the Autobot Decepticon war. Any chance you could join us?
I'm far too busy, guys. I got way too many projects in the air and so many things to make. You know how it is.
I'm sending tons of other player characters to their deaths all day long. I'm swamped.
I don't even know what happened to those Sons of Glitches, CMOS, Professor Sprocket. They just bailed on me. I'm the only one left who got sent back in.
Sons of Glitches. That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. They all did
not even Kiloton.
Nice.
I hereby move that we retitle this adventure Sons of Glitches.
I can get behind that. You're late. So incredibly late. You only received the message 20 minutes ago, but you're already late. The message said 0800 and it's almost 0900. Leg pistons chew up the distance as the Science Directorate building comes into view. You dart across the lane, cutting in front of vehicular traffic, causing a bus to slam on its brakes before it runs you over. Hey, yo, I'm driving here! The bus transforms its fender and shakes an angry fist at you as you dash into the open door, right between the legs of an exiting scientist, bowling her over in your haste. You skip the elevator, opting instead for the stairs downward into the secure wing of the science building. You jump up and get your paw on the security reader, opening the blast door and race down the hall, past stunned scientists to a door at the end. The sign reads, Wheeljacks. Inside, the door to Wheeljack's lab slides open, revealing 4 bots inside. Leaning over a workstation, attention focused on a datapad, is what looks like a Junkion. And Charles, what does this bot look like?
He's got bits of metal and scrap hanging all over him. You can tell he turns into some kind of tow truck vehicle in vehicle mode, but he looks like a little bit patchworky. You can tell he's a Junkion, and his speech pattern is very odd. He throws in a lot of cultural references, but since no one is from Earth, no one gets the references because he spent a lot of time on Earth and got really into The Simpsons and Star Trek there, but no one else on Cybertron understands him.
Oh, those poor people.
You and Magnum need to have a conversation here. Think he'd really get you.
Yeah, he's probably the only other one. Him and his newfangled Simpsons.
You're far too colorful for Magnum's liking. Magnum's all black and white. You're like this riot of colors.
Their handshake meme meeting would be the Wizard of Oz.
Guess we got to follow the yellow brick road.
In the back corner of the room, a bot is sitting cross-legged, back to the wall. Patrick, what does this guy look like?
He's a very, very thin robot. Has a very small head, surprisingly large armpit areas, and has these kind of like sharp protrusions going up and down its arms.
Ooh, sounds dangerous.
Well, he's got his eyes closed and he's leaning up against the wall, so how dangerous could I be?
In the center of the room, standing at attention while speaking to Ironhide, is a silver bot, Autobot symbol displayed proudly on his chest. Yoshi, what does this fella look like?
This fellow is stainless steel looking from head to toe. He has a shoulder cannon mounted on his right side. He has 2 blasters attached to the top of his wrists on either hand, either arm. He looks like an imposing I think we said pistons for muscles. He looks like an opposing piston built bot, I guess.
He's got the servos, right?
He looks strong. He looks beefy. In all the ways I am not.
Beef gag.
That's a joke that Scrap Heap should make.
I'm too busy looking at my data pad.
And lastly, standing in the doorway, standing at an impressive knee height, is a hopping, sniffing, metallic bunny. Matt, what does this look like?
Well, you gotta. He looks like a large but small compared to the rest of them. Metal rabbit. He's sort of matte gunmetal silver, sort of darker than Mr. Shiny over here, but not as reflective. He just sort of looks back and forth suspiciously and wiggles his nose a bit. He's mainly that gunmetal color, but he does have a prominent blue Decepticon badge on his back.
Ooh.
And he is just going to look around the room.
Autobots and Decepticons don't mix.
Well, the Autobot can leave, can't he?
Petro rabbits.
Let's keep it civil here.
We'll see.
Not Civil War. Sorry, wrong choice of words. Civil, just civil, just plain civil.
Monty, I'm glad you could finally make it. And I'm glad my message reached you on time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're doing a little research there on the field. I got here as quick as I could there. What's up?
Well, I sent messages to each of you detailing the situation. But I think Scrap Heap over here could probably brief you more better than I could. So, Scrap Heap, why don't you tell these fellas what you found 2 weeks ago down in the catacombs?
All right, everyone. Yeah. Scrap Heap's a name. Junk Science is my game. Because I'm a junkion, not because my science is junk. But yeah, I've been... I was trapped in the catacombs beneath Cybertron. Barely got out with my life. And down there we found these weird crystals. They look like Energon, but they were green in color, and don't fuel up on them. They're not good Energon. After taking them back to Wheeljack's lab, we analyzed them and found out these things are from the Dead Universe, which, if you haven't heard of it, it's in the name. It's pretty bad, so you don't want to go there. So we don't know where these things came from, but if there is a portal or a connection or conduit to the Dead Universe somewhere beneath Cybertron, that's bad. So we need to make sure that's not happening, or if there is something down there, we need to make sure it's closed and not spilling into Cybertron here, because yeah, a leak from the Dead Universe is not gonna be good for Cybertron. So I think we need to take care of that.
What would we roll for just casual knowledge about the Dead Universe in character?
That would be a mysticism check.
Do you want us to roll that now?
Yeah, if you want to, go for it.
Well, that's a great way to start the adventure off.
Yeah, I got a 4 for my aid.
I rolled a 19. Does that how do I calculate the modifier for aiding?
So if you hit 10, it's +2. If you hit 20, it's +4. 30 is +6.
+2 then.
So I have a 30 just by myself. Yeah, wow. It's one of my best skills, and I rolled a 19. So
that's awesome. And then was it 32 total then?
Unless Wheeljack is aiding us, in which case it's probably going to be higher.
He's way too busy to help us in any way. Yeah.
Totally busy.
All right, well, I don't know if you guys heard the story about the first arc leaving Cybertron. That was with Nova Prime, he took a group out to explore the galaxy, and they never returned. Well, that's not quite true, because they did return just a few cycles ago, and they tried to kill everyone. So we found out later on that their ship had been tossed into the dead universe at a portal at the Benzuli Expanse, which is how we figured out that these crystals were also from the dead universe. They had the same signature as the Benzuli Expanse. And the dead universe is a place where bots go in and they don't come out, or when they do come out, they have become, for want of a better word, evil zombie bots. So, yeah, the dead universe sucks the life out of everything that touches it, that comes in contact with it, and it even turns the bots that go into it into agents of... we're not sure if there's some kind of sentience or intelligence behind the dead universe that wants to bleed into ours, but it seems like the bots that come back actively try to bring the dead universe into our universe, and that's bad. The technical term is bad.
Do these zombie bots retain like intelligence?
Yes, they do, and that's the scary part.
Yes.
It's like they have all the knowledge that they had when they were alive, I guess.
But their priorities are shifted.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
That's much more dangerous than just robot zombies.
Yes.
Sort of like local government.
So yeah, more True Blood, less Walking Dead.
Son of a bitch, Matt.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, I guess they'd be vampires rather than zombies.
Okay.
A quick question, Mike. Am I here as primarily covering information or assisting? Because I have a news contact sent me here, and I was on a research story. So did they send me here because they need assistance, or or am I sent here to cover it as like a news story?
Both. Ironhide thinks you're there to help, and Circuit thinks you're there to cover the story.
All right.
So I suppose the real answer is to whatever your character's motivation is, that's what he's going to do.
Well, that's what's going to happen anyway. I'm just sort of curious. It's my cover story.
I was going to say, let's, there's this possibly reality-threatening concept that we have no information about, but let's send a reporter in so that he can get first-hand knowledge to spread the virus. Thank you. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's going to want to know about the dead universe leaking into our sewers and tunnels and Metroplex's toenails. So what exactly do you want us to do about it?
I want you four to head down into the catacombs and investigate what is going on down there. See if you can track whatever the source of these crystals are to their source, and if there's any other threat to Iacon, like if you actually find someone there who's causing this, go ahead and deal with them. Make certain that they're not a threat anymore.
All right, deal with them. Yep.
You want them terminated?
Yes, Scrap Heap. I would like them terminated. Yes.
All right, I'll need a guarantee of exclusivity here.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, since you're the only person there, we're not going to be sending any of the teams in unless you don't make it back.
Nevertheless, I need it.
I think the news is by definition non-monogamous.
I don't know. I mean, I could certainly get exclusives elsewhere.
So you're a reporter? I thought we needed Ironhide. I thought you were sending soldiers with me to, take care of this threat. I mean,
you don't think I'm tough enough there, pal? No.
I mean, at least you look like the Easter Bunny, and
do I look adorable to you? Am I a joke? Is my tail fuzzy? Does my nose wiggle cutely? Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of.
Yes.
Why don't you, do you mass shift in robot mode? Let me see you bulk up a little bit.
It's none of your business.
Got any weapons? Hiding any weapons in those floppy ears?
A hatch will open in his back, and a articulated arm with a large rotary saw in the back comes out and spins up. That good enough?
I guess we'll see. I mean, I thought Decepticons were warriors. What is?
Do I have to remove your leg to convince you, there, pal?
Never seen a cute and cuddly Decepticon.
Ironhide, sir.
What is it, Shatter?
I'm here because I owe you one. Now, if I understand this mission correctly, you want me to take this ragtag group of miscreants down into the depths of Cybertron to go fight some sort of zombie-like robot virus with a no-good mechanical rodent Decepticon tinker toy. You are pushing it.
That's why I didn't give you the option on this one, Shatter. I knew this was going to be the reaction. But you don't need to worry about Monty down there. He's a capable warrior. I've seen his work myself. Scrap Heap here has first-hand experience with these crystals and the zombies that it can create, or the vampires, whatever you want to call them. And Calibur over in the back over there. From what I'm told, he is a capable warrior. I have not seen his work myself, but he comes very highly recommended. I will let Calibur speak for himself on that front. But yes, I want you to take this team and find out what is happening.
For the love of sir, let me see your data pad.
And he hands a data pad.
You talking to me?
Somebody lacks a certain amount of self-confidence, I guess. I mean,
Sir Ironhide, who has tactical authority on this mission?
That would be Shatter here.
Okay.
So Shatter punches a couple of things on his data pad. Long enough till somebody asks what he's doing.
You're typing a little long there, Shatter. Shatterbot. Shatterlad Ding Dong. What's going on there?
Will and Testament?
He gives you he looks at you in the eye, hands the data pad back to Ironhide and says, updating my will.
Called it.
Yeesh. Tough crowd.
I hate to do this to you. I know we're just throwing you in to the deep end on this one. But our security forces are spread really thin. And we need more, we just need more security bots. Unfortunately, and I'm dealing with several missing ones myself. So for the time being, it's gonna have to be you four.
Don't worry, Ironhide. I'm sure we can compensate for having an Autobot in the group. So, we'll take care of it.
Shatter would like to point his wrist at the rodent and have it start glowing. Be like, that'll be enough from you.
Make it happen or don't wave it around there, bro.
I think that'll be enough from everybody, children.
All right, folks. Time's a wasting. Go ahead and head on over to the catacombs. It's been cleaned up. You'll find the camp from Central Reclamation is still out there, just making certain that everyone stays clear from it. But we did open up a new passage in the western wall of that cavern you climbed out of. So, time's a wasting. Get on going. And you guys will head out of the Science Directorate and start making your way over to the cavern that you escaped from a couple weeks ago. How's Scrap Heap feeling about this, huh? This is a rough time for you.
I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. Yeah. Everyone, I'll just say, keep your guard up. If you run into any Sharkticons, do not try to talk to them. Just shoot them. I learned that lesson the hard way.
Have no fear, Scrap Heap. You didn't have me with you last time.
Yeah, fancy pants here.
Well, what's your story?
What's my story?
Yeah, I mean...
I am a student of Yoketron, master of the Metallico martial arts style.
You got any guns on you? Or do you only hit people.
I am the weapon.
So you turn into a gun?
No, something far more civilized.
You throw the rabbit.
Works for me, Autoface.
A more elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
All right, I'm going to be standing in the back. You guys can go first.
I'll go first. No tunnels.
I'll go behind the rodent, because in chess, the pawns go first.
It's a shame you'll never become a player.
Good one, Spiky.
Urge to kill, rise.
Hey, I like this guy.
Totally forgot. Yoshi can dish it out, but he can't take it.
Oh, man, Ironhide must be really hurting for bots.
What about the rest of you? What sort of training do you have?
The name's Shatter. I've been a cop on Cybertron for the last several years. Before then, Ironhide and I were pretty tight. He rescued me from several tight scraps, if you will.
Would you go as far as you say it rescued you from a heap of scraps?
Hey, I was never there.
Okay.
So you're a soldier then?
Yes,
A warrior?
I am.
Did you fight in the war?
I did.
How does that make you feel? That the war is over? Because the war is over.
He rubs his Autobot badge and then continues walking.
Ooh.
So that's a sensitive spot right there, apparently.
It's on my chest, yeah.
What about you, Calibi? You an Autobot or a Decepticon, or not taking sides?
Sir, it's Sir Calibur, 10th of my name. I did not participate in the war. I was elsewhere. I have been taught to seek balance in all things. So I find that both Autobots and Decepticons tend to be extremists. Not all of them, of course, but enough to... I'm not swayed either way. Autobots and Decepticons tend to be more concerned about being right than about doing what is right.
I'm just more about right now getting the heck out of here.
Hey, we're not even underground yet there, pal.
What about you, Monty?
I've been here and
How did you join this little
here
group?
and there and everywhere, doing some freelance reporting for Circuit there. I don't know, he sent me along, but used to do a little chewing in the war and parts reclamation, scrap metal, that sort of thing, odds and ends, ups and downs, seen every inside outside.
I don't think I've ever heard somebody use so many words to say nothing.
I like this guy. Yeah, just scrapper, that's all.
A scavenger, eh?
This group has a lot of scrap in their history, apparently. Scrap heaps, scrapes.
Oh dear.
When you're made of junk rules everything around you.
The four of you make your way down the ladder back into the catacombs that Scrap Heap escaped from nearly 2 weeks ago. But this time, instead of encountering a mountain of broken bodies, the cavern is clean. The glow of the mountain emergency lights illuminates the space, chasing the shadows away. Although the detritus has been cleaned up, a new passageway was opened against the western wall, the light failing to penetrate into its darkness. So just so we can get a kind of an idea of what you're heading into, this 150-foot circular cavern was the resting place of dozens of decapitated and dismembered automatons. Mounted emergency lights fill the once dark space with light, allowing the abattoir to feel more like a cavern and less like a tomb. To the south, a passage leads into a maze of twisting tunnels that Scrap Heap and his sidekicks found themselves in after the building collapsed. To the west, a new passage recently opened leads off into the darkness.
Can I make a perception check when we enter the room just to kind of get a feel for the place?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. You're in it now.
I have a 19.
An aid for 2.
So a 21 total?
Does it smell more like death or more like cleaning products at this point?
It smells more like cleaning products right now. Yeah. You've heard all about the Scrap Heap's adventure. I'm sure he told you all about it on the trip over here. And you know that in the center of this cavern was a giant pile of dead bodies. And you would expect, like energon stains, oil, stuff like that, just kind of be like residue on it. But it looks like it's been just scrubbed clean. And everything kind of has this like very sterile, kind of antiseptic kind of quality about it. Even like the walls and everything too, it looks like someone took like extra care to be sure that whatever was down here is now no longer there. But the cavern itself seems pretty nondescript. You can't even tell like a battle happened here before.
Did the authorities send people down here to clean it up, or is this like something that we're surprised by?
You're not surprised by it. It was like talked about, and everything that happened, at least like what was going on in the cavern, was public knowledge. It was reported. Maybe even Monty had a hand in writing the story about it. Who knows?
Can't pin anything on me.
But like, what went on in this cavern is not secret, so you would expect that someone in the previous 2 weeks would have come in to help clean and just deal with the bodies that were here.
Does the place have like a spiritual stench to it?
Oh yeah, antiseptic can't remove that.
Can I make a sense motive on my party members just to see, like, are they hiding anything? Like, did something else happen here that they know about that?
I think the only one you could make it against would be Scrap Heap, because he was the only one that was actually here, but yeah, if you'd like to.
Ugh, God damn it. No. Natural 1, so that's a 12.
Charles, what do you want him to believe? You can tell him whatever you want.
Okay. No, it was a pretty nasty scene down here. I mean, there was this crazy bot who was bringing dead bodies, back to life, and we had to fight him. I almost died here. If it wasn't for that crazy Decepticon Kiloton and CMOS, that Autobot Scout, I never would have thought Autobots and Decepticons would work together, but I guess we're here again. Things change, but I made it out alive. But I can understand why they wanted to clean this place up, because this would give protoforms nightmares.
At least we know where all the manpower that Ben Ironhide was talking about that he doesn't have is going to. It's deep cleaning and sterilizing underground death chambers.
Mismanagement of resources?
I have some experience with reanimation. This is the first time I've seen it done to bots. I've seen it's easier to do to organic beings. I'm curious if there's a similarity in the methods. I guess we'll find out.
Well, I mean, organics tend to, they tend to get stinky when their bodies expire. I mean, with the, us robotic beings, I think it's just a matter of, putting some artificial artificial animation back into the body and getting it up and running again. I mean, they're not able to recall the spark from, I don't know, the all spark, the after spark, wherever sparks go when they're extinguished. But to just get a body moving again with some minimal force, I think it just takes a little bit of energon and a lot of luck.
That's a deep cut, Charles.
Yeah, the faster we go in, I guess the faster we can come back. I guess we should get moving.
Okay, I'm going to take a peek down this dark hallway.
Monty, lead the way.
Got it, Cap.
What is going to be the party order going forward, just so I know?
Monty will be in front.
I'm guessing it would be probably Monty first, then Shatter second, and then Scrap Heap and myself.
Yep.
Yeah, I like having someone in front and behind me. That makes me feel safe.
I like someone looking at my behind, so this works.
Scrap Heap, do you have martial training?
You know, I'm a Junkion, so you know it was a pretty brutal planet I grew up on, so I can swing an axe and I can shoot a gun. I can handle myself in a fight.
I'm happy to hear that. The only other times I were ever captured in war was when I was attacked from behind, so I'm glad you're back there.
I'll watch your back, Shatter. Make sure you don't shatter that aft.
He's working those glute pistons. He doesn't want that to go to waste.
Does your rabbit mode have any see in the dark properties there, Monty?
I was just going to ask that. What's the lighting situation for you folks?
Monty has low light vision and a flashlight if necessary.
Yeah, I also have no special ability to see.
Can we assume that all, like, if you're a vehicle mode, you have some like lights somewhere on your bot mode?
No, because have you ever heard of this racer called Sweet Spot? He's got stickers for headlights. Do you have an actual like light, like a flashlight or lights item?
I did not pick one. Can I retroactively put one in my inventory? I have enough tech slots for it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, since the Tinker Toy's ahead of me, can I put my safety on?
Sure. The tunnel curves and twists for several miles, continuing on a linear path downwards. After traveling for about an hour, you come to your first side passage. It looks like the passage narrows before it curves off into the left. So what you're seeing right now is the tunnel is a very roughly hewn tunnel straight through the material of Cybertron. And for the most part, it continues on straight and it curves and meanders here and there, but for the most part heading downwards. On your right is an opening that looks like a small side tunnel. You're looking into it, and it looks like that side tunnel narrows down, and then it eventually curves off into the darkness.
Can I make a survival check? Like, have people already been walking this way? And something like a physical science to know, like, is this natural to Cybertron, or is this corrupted somehow by the thing that we're here for?
You absolutely can, but Monty is going to get first crack at it because he specifically said he was scouting ahead.
Okay.
Well, I did a survival of 19 if you want to aid. So
I have a 24, so I add 4.
23 for survival.
And my physical science is only an 11.
Okay. Monty, I do want you to give me a perception check, though, in addition to that in addition to the survival.
Can I do stealth as well?
If you'd like to, sure.
I can do physical science if that's if we are still doing that at some point.
Let me resolve the perception survival first, then you guys can do the physical science.
I had 19 for stealth, 15 for perception.
Okay. You notice one important detail as soon as you walk up to the tunnel entrance, that there's footprints that lead into that smaller side tunnel. And with that survival check, you can tell that these footprints are at least a month old.
All right. Are they bot prints or tracks of an animal of some sort?
They look like the footsteps of a bipedal being.
Can we determine how many walkers there are?
Would you get for your survival?
21? No, 23.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It looks like just one. Now you want to roll a physical science, so we'll say that you guys have caught up with Monty. So, what would you like to go ahead and roll up your physical science?
Maybe I should take this one, and you can aid me.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I rolled my 11, so I'll add +2 if that's allowed. I just kind of figured, like, as we're walking by, we just kind of, like, rub our hands on the wall and be like, oh, wait, this has got that weird purple texture that is only seen in the southern portions of blah, 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 you know?
I got a 31, so 33.
Damn, Charles. That's a big roll. With a 33, you are confident that this is a natural formation.
Oh, okay.
You think that as like Cybertron's surface was reformed, there's likely these pockmarked, like these pocked tunnels throughout the majority of the underground part of the planet. And you're probably we wouldn't be surprised to find that there are like natural like energon reservoirs down here, maybe even like an underground river of some kind, maybe lava fields and stuff. So there's a huge amount of like natural phenomenon that you can find.
I spent a long time staring at stones, so it's something I notice now.
Is this side tunnel natural?
That is a good question, and I will roll over that physical science check so you can learn that it is not natural. That looks like it was dug or carved somehow.
Well, we got footprints in an artificial tunnel, so it probably is worth checking out the side tunnel.
Lead on, Sir Monty.
Sure thing, Chief.
Let's make a deal. Go forward.
I will do stealth.
So you follow the side tunnel down a little ways, and once it turns a corner, it only goes about another 4 or 5 feet. But you notice that the tunnel is actually getting smaller as it gets further in, and by the time you hit the end of the tunnel, the opening is only about 3 feet wide. The rest of you can make it in, however, it's going to be a very tight fit for you. Monty, you're fine. So you follow the tunnel down, you see the opening, you pop your head through the opening, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
So you
And
don't add that in editing.
You stick your neck out and...
Thanks for listening to this Empire of Rust special. As always, Empire of Rust was conceived, written, and GM'd by Michael Ordway. Patrick Finn played the living weapon, Calibur. Decepticon Vorpal Bunny Monty was played by Matthew G. Yusuf Tanha, better known as Yoshi, was the Autobot powerhouse Shatter. And yours truly, Charles, aka Big C, was that lovable Junkion Scrap Heap. For more adventures with Shatter, check out Yoshi's G1-themed project Transformers Reanimated at transformersreanimated.com. Empire of Rust is part of the Transmissions Podcast Network. For all the latest news in the Transformers multiverse, listen to the Transmissions Podcast at transmissionspodcast.com.